Aries.
Hello Aries, this is your forecast for February 2015, and this is a month where you're going to start feeling very so empowered. This is going to be a little later in the month when both Venus and Mars is going to join you in your sign. So, but let's start top of the month here as Venus and Neptune are going to conjunct, and that means they're sharing that same degree in the sky, and Venus being love, Neptune is that higher octave of love. So you might just feel how your heart chakra is fluttering a little bit more. You might feel that much more romantic. It is definitely a date you want to put on your calendar to be with your significant other. And for those of you single Arians, you might just come to meet somebody here where you can feel not just that attraction to, which is the physical attraction, but here you might really come to feel that you're going to be spiritually attracted to somebody, where you can see eye to eye and soul to soul, so to speak. And beautiful day for those of you who are artistic and wanting to express yourself. So February 2nd is also a time where things are going to move forward with leaps and bounds. There is some unexpected news here, as Uranus always brings when it touches upon some of our personal planets. For you, you have the Sun in the 11th house this month. So that is within the areas of your hopes and dreams, but also within your circle of friends, groups and organizations, your social networks and so forth. So this is where your focus is going to be. And then having Uranus coming in, which actually rules the internet, and it rules that higher superhighway communication. So you might get something in this area coming out of the blue, which might be a little shocking, but it should be a good shock, not a negative shock, since this is a harmonious aspect, at least in your solar chart. What's in your natal chart, I can't see from here, but pay attention to February 2nd, because I think it could be quite surprising. Now on the 5th, we have Mercury and Saturn coming together here in a sextile. Mercury's communication, the talks that we have, and Saturn is trying to find a new structure, growing new roots. And as you recall now that Saturn has shifted signs out of Scorpio into your sister sign of Sagittarius. So it's harmonious for you. This Saturn is going to help you over the next 2.5 years to grow your visions. And for those of you who are entrepreneurs, you're definitely going to love how Saturn's going to be supportive of you as you plunge through seeking those higher goals. But this day on the 5th, yes, there is a communication and a talk with somebody in a seat of power or influence. And I feel the talk itself can be really good. Maybe this person has come out from your past, since Mercury is retrograde. And I think it's okay to have these talks in spite of Mercury being retrograde, because it's more like tapping into previous held ideas and concepts. But it's not a good time yet to initiate or start anything new. But if you hold off when Mercury goes direct again, it's first passing beyond, it's going backwards over this Saturn, but it's going to catch up when it moves forward and pass this very same degree of Saturn on February 19th. And that would be a wonderful day to have a new talk with this person or situation, and feel that now is the time that you can sign any agreements and feel safe and good about it. And the 19th is such a magical date here this month for you Aries, because your ruler, which is Mars, is moving into your sign, and on the 20th, the following day, Venus too will be moving into your sign. So here we have this powerhouse of energy. They're coming out of the 12th house, where they're going to be the first half of February, or at least to the 19th there. And what it's doing until the 19th is you healing letting go of certain things, you're pruning, you are recharging your batteries. Venus only goes into this area once every year, and Mars every 2 years. So it's like completing a cycle, and before we start that new cycle, we're kind of retrospecting and looking at what we accomplished in those cycles before we now start fresh. And so you will have that from the 19th and 20th. Let me tell you though, you are going to be a Sputnik by the end of the month. The 22nd is a date that you want to pay attention to, when Mars and Venus, they're conjunct, meaning they share the very same degree on the night sky. So go out and have a look at them. They're beautiful, and they are in your first house. And the first house is you. That is your essence. For you women that are listening, having Venus in the first house is when you are glowing and the most radiant, all right? That is when you bring out that Venusian energy out to the world, and it is fueled by Mars, so you can imagine you are going to be such a magnet of attraction to people around you. So you might just feel everybody wanting your attention here. But it's also a fantastic time to meet a new partner if you are single. So do not sit at home, be out and about. And for those of you in a relationship, well, you know what to do. You cancel out any other appointments and have your candlelight dinner. Have your date on the 22nd. Now, there might be a situation on the 23rd, though, where you apparently might be up against this Saturn, you know, and it's still new and fresh for you in this area here where it's moved into, which for you is the 9th house. So that might have to do with you now reaching into a new field of education, studying, learning new topics, but it could also be you now readying yourself to go out and mentor and teach yourself. And you're going to see that over the next 2 to 2.5 years, how you're going to be expanding in that field. So this Sun and Saturn squaring each other, it's just a very fleeting transit. It's going to last there a couple of days where you might feel it, but it's more asking yourself, am I ready? Can I do this? You know, can I really go out there and teach? It's like, yes, you can. Right? This is what Saturn is powering you up to do. However, on the 24th and the 26th, so it's only, you know, a day of self-doubt that you may have because it's that new challenge there with Saturn. But then both Venus and Mars both will have a beautiful golden trine to that Saturn. So that is the planets talking within your consciousness, saying, oh yes, you're ready. Go for it. You know, dive into it. You have prepared for a long time. You know your stuff. So if you have something to share and teach, this is the time to bring it out. If you have been thinking of wanting to go back to school, take a few classes so you can get your higher degree, absolutely this is the time for you to just go for it. Saturn will see to it that you do, and that you get what it is you both want and what you deserve there. We have the full moon here this month on February 3rd, Aries, and for you it's in a delightful area. It's the 5th house for love and romance. It's an area also of self-expression and creativity, you bringing out your artsy side. And not only do we have a full moon that's going to be illuminating this romantic area, but it is also being visited by a couple of transits. We have a beautiful golden ray from Uranus, which currently is in your 1st house. So that's you. You know, the changes that you're undergoing. You have, many of you, at least those early Arians, you've already changed up your life so much that it's hard to think who you were before it really happened here a few years ago. The rest of you Aries, you have this to look forward to. These radical changes that are taking place in so many people's lives. But yes, this is going to be a unexpected surprise coming from either your loved one, or maybe you're the one who's going to initiate a surprise to your significant other. And not only that, that is like the one side of it, but then this full moon is also going to conjunct, meaning sharing the same degree here with Jupiter. And so think about that. Jupiter being so abundant and so giving and bountiful. So for those of you looking to get pregnant, well, this is a very fertile time for you. It's the 5th house of children. So this could definitely happen. Some of you younger Aries might hear news about that you already are pregnant. That could be the surprise news Uranus is going to give you, to yourself and to the partner, the love area we're talking about, and it having to do also with children. Yeah, there could be news, definitely, of pregnancy. But of course, it doesn't go for all of you. But pregnancy is so many things. It's not just a physical pregnancy, but at times we're pregnant with life. We're pregnant with love. We're pregnant with conceptual ideas. So we can see that symbolically as well, of course. Mercury is retrograde until the 12th, that we have covered. So you might just hear from friends you haven't heard from for a long time, especially because it is transiting your 11th house. And so that's always a joyful time when we can reconnect, catch up, and that type of thing. The new moon, we did say also, is at the very last degree of Aquarius in this area. So that's always the time that we put down our intentions for the coming month and also for the coming year. For you, having it in the 11th house, your intentions should be, I will stay more connected to these longtime friends, which I don't get to see too often, right? That's one thing. And also, it's such an idealistic house, too. So wherever you want to share your time, volunteer your time to groups and organizations, and many of you have that very heartfelt, that could also be a part of your intentions. So there we have the moon phases. We know that Jupiter is going to be retrograde until your birth month out there in April. So yes, she's still retrograde in your 5th house, but still doing good, still, expanding this whole area for you with love and your children and your self-expression, the renewal of self. You have that going until the end of summer. So that is wonderful. There's another date I'd like to put on your calendar, which would be February 8th, when Venus and Pluto are going to be sextile. And Venus is your creativity. Venus is your monetary security. Venus is your love and romantic energy. When it's fusing in here with Pluto, Pluto is transformative. It's very intense. It will go in there. It will touch upon whatever matter at hand. In this case, it's Venus, which is in your the 12th house when this happens. Well, it's going to go in there and it's going to want to transform some aspect of your spiritual, emotional consciousness. And I think you're going to love it, because whatever it is going to renew, it's something that will spark a sense, a higher sense. Could even be a calling, because 12th house is very spiritual in that sense. It might be a calling to do something, to come forward, birth some new idea, especially because you have all of that going on in your 5th house too, right? So yeah, an exciting month in the overall, and I feel it's going to flow that much easier than the months that we have been through. 2014 was a little bit of a challenge, and of course, yes, we still have the open square between Uranus and Pluto. That's still operative, but by now you already know how those energies are working, and I feel that you're adjusting pretty well to them. So listen, Aries, listen to your partner's chart, see what's going on with him or her, and as always, also listen to your moon and rising sign, and I will see you there in March. Have a good month now. Bye-bye.